Deep within the ancient expanse of the Amazon, an unyielding arena awakens under the relentless glare of Mother Nature. Here, beneath a canopy steeped in primordial instinct, the eternal struggle for survival unfolds with absolute and merciless precision. The jaguar stalks the scorched earth, while high above, the apex ruler of the sky watches over this unforgiving wasteland. Silent behemoths glide through murky depths, where every living creature is bound to the sacred balance of the food chain. When the merciless tide of time brings the dry season, the great jungle transforms into a brutal arena of elimination. Receding waters trap the desperate, forcing predator and prey into a grim fight to the death for final supremacy. In this realm of shifting power, even the supreme ruler must bow before the uncompromising law of the individual. As water vanishes, the delicate balance collapses, pushing every single creature closer toward the tipping point of eternal silence. Hunger strikes without mercy, driving the solitary apex hunter and the herd alike to the very edge of endurance. Exhausted after 7 long months of fasting, a mother anaconda drifts helplessly through the treacherous, sun-baked shallows. The scent of blood ignites. A frenzy, an ancient biological machine, awakens beneath the water. In a cruel twist of survival, the supreme apex creature becomes vulnerable prey to an ancient nemesis. Driven by primordial instinct, she surges through the crimson foam, desperately fighting against the law of elimination. Only when the first rains fall will the great jungle reset its balance and begin the cycle of life anew. Hundreds of red-bellied piranhas thrash in wild frenzy, driven by an unyielding hunger that dominates the riverbed. Yet these infamous killers serve a sacred duty, working as nature's cleanup crew to erase decay and disease. By cleansing the dark waters, they maintain the fragile harmony necessary for the rebirth of the entire ecosystem. High above in the treetop kingdom, another supreme ruler silently observes from the last stronghold of the forest. On the highest branch, a young harpy eagle has endured 3 days without food, its survival hanging by a thread. Miles away, the mother stalks the canopy, knowing that in this game of life, haste brings fatal errors. Armed with eyes 4 times sharper than a human's, she cuts through the dense green shadows with absolute focus. Below, a troop of howler monkeys feeds quietly, unaware of the ancient nemesis lurking directly above them. Target locked. A juvenile strays beyond the protective boundary of the herd. Alarm calls shatter the air. A frantic leap for survival. The eagle dives like a strike weapon. Talons miss by a heartbeat. She must climb again back on the nest. Her chick's countdown ticks away. A new target appears, a 3-toed sloth suspended high in the canopy. Covered in moss, it moves so slowly it becomes the tree a relic of a forgot age. Perfect immobility is its armor, but can camouflage shield it from the eyes of death. Swooping at 80 kilometers an hour, talons massive as a bear's claws lock in. In one swift stroke, the apex creature claims her prize, securing survival in the eternal cycle of life. High above the merciless expanse of the great jungle, a fledgling eagle claims its meager prize after 3 days of absolute famine. Yet this solitary meal is merely the opening chapter in a brutal, 6-month test of survival instinct and relentless flight. Mastery over the sky is not bestowed by the Creator. It is bought through endless failure, governed by the unyielding law of elimination. To nurture a single heir, the devotion of the mother is absolute, forcing this apex creature to command a vast and perilous territory. Yet beneath the shadow of the supreme ruler, a capuchin monkey wields a heavy stone, turning a simple tool into an instrument of evolution. For 8 long years, the juvenile observes. Acquiring the primordial instinct required to crack the hardest seeds in the forest. High in the ancient canopy, the hyacinth mackerel relies on sheer power. A biological machine built solely for this specialized niche. When the ancient canopy falls to the merciless tide of time, this vibrant species edges closer to the abyss of extinction. Below, 500,000 army ants march as one single entity. A terrifying tide, guided entirely by chemical signals. When the scent fails, the collective falls into a death spiral, marching endlessly into the eternal silence of exhaustion. Yet when united, this red flood devours everything in its path, leaving opportunistic birds to harvest the desperate prey. In the shrinking waterholes of the wasteland, the herd of capybaras seeks refuge, oblivious to the nightmare slumbering below. Coiled beneath the murky surface waits an ancient nemesis, the giant anaconda, an ambush predator of unmatched patience. Sudden strike. The monster erupts from the depths. Steel jaws lock on. Crushing coils wrap tight. Suffocating power. A fight to the death. Won in mere seconds. The capybara's life fades, crushed beneath the merciless weight of a primordial leviathan. This massive kill will sustain the predator for months, as Mother Nature claims another fallen soul to maintain the sacred balance. The surviving herd scatters in panic. For in this wasteland, a single moment of carelessness means total elimination. Below the surface, red-bellied piranhas swarm in the murky depths, fear giving way to a frantic, ravenous frenzy. Trapped in the drying pool, these living blades tear through the shadows, driven by the inescapable agony of hunger. Then, a living high-voltage generator emerges. The electric eel, weaponized by thousands of specialized biological cells, unleashing 800 volts of deadly current. This invisible force strikes fear into every creature that dares approach. Yet even this ruler must yield when the river wolves arrive. Giant otters who conquer through absolute unity. Fearless and coordinated, the pack swarms even the armored caiman, proving that togetherness is the ultimate strategy for survival. Beside this eternal conflict, the gentle tapir treads softly, a relic of a forgot age, sowing seeds for the forest's rebirth. As dusk falls over the dying waters, thousands of caimans gather, claiming their realm in the dark. In this wild arena, the struggle never ends. predator and prey, bound forever in their eternal cycle of life. Under the watchful eye of Mother Nature, the great jungle marches on, ruled by the immutable law of survival. In the suffocating shallows, thousands of armored predators wait silently for thirst to drive their prey. From the murky depths, a 5-meter titan erupts, shattering the stillness of the wilderness. This is no attack, but a primordial summoning, sending infrasound tremors through the water. Carried across vast miles, this ancient call reignites life amid the brutal dry season. As receding rivers expose sandbars, thousands of giant Amazon turtles gather to fulfill their destiny. Under night's cover, they bury millions of eggs before vanishing silently into the current. Weeks later, subterranean chirps echo softly, a synchronized signal for newborn life to emerge. A sudden frenzy erupts. Hatchlings race frantically toward the river to escape the doors of death. Though predators lie in ambush, sheer numbers remain there, only shield against the law of elimination. Those that fall nourish the land, reclaimed by scavengers in the sacred balance of the food chain. This silent cycle of rebirth ensures the great jungle remains vibrant and forever cleansed. Every hunter faces its limits, until a shadow-draped phantom emerges from the undergrowth. The supreme ruler reveals itself. The jaguar, the grandest apex feline of the Americas. Over 100 kilos of lethal muscle move without a sound, stalking through the foliage. While eagles command the sky, this assassin dominates the forest floor with a thunderous bite force. Where other big cats strangle their prey, the jaguar chooses a far more devastating path. It strikes directly at the skull, shattering bone with nearly 1,000 kilograms of force. Death is instantaneous, honoring its name as the creature that kills with a single leap. Unlike most cats who fear the deep, this apex predator turns rivers into hunting grounds. Tonight's target swims into view, an unsuspecting caiman drifting along the murky edge. Launching from the high bank, the hunter dives, striking in a thunderous impact. The armored aquatic ruler, once proud and untouchable, is vanquished in mere seconds. Locking its crushing jaws, the jaguar hauls its massive trophy up the muddy slope. In murky depths or high canopy, no corner of this realm lies beyond its supreme reach. To solidify its absolute crown, it sets out to challenge the ultimate monster of the marsh. Beneath dark waters, a giant anaconda slithers toward a brutal, fateful clash. Will the apex king prevail, or the bone-crushing ancient nemesis of the mud? The jaguar plunges into the mire. A fight to the death unfolds in seconds. Denying the serpent time to coil, it pierces the skull with surgical, merciless lethality. The swamp terror is subdued, dragged relentlessly ashore as a prize of domination. Yet in the deepest shadow of the forest, this monarch dons a darker, phantom mantle. A melanistic black panther, a rare shadow entity moving silently through dense grass. No creature is born ruler. Supreme survival mastery is paid for with blood and time. A mother tirelessly trains her offspring, guiding perilous leaps across high branches. A painful plunge to the earth is the brutal lesson required to master evolution. Southward beyond the rainforest, the open, sun-bleached Cerrado savanna unfolds. Here roams an unusual phantom, the maned wolf striding on stilt-like limbs. Its long legs elevate vision above high grass, while 17-centimeter ears track every rustle. Uniquely, this predator craves wild fruit, the sacred wolf apple of the plains. The fruit purges lethal kidney parasites. In return, the wolf plants seeds across grasslands. A sacred, silent alliance, forged between apex hunter and flora. Here too, the giant anteater thrives, sustained by millions of tiny, industrious prey. Formidable claws shatter insect fortresses, ripping through walls hardened like stone. A 60-centimeter coat of sticky mucus flickers twice every single second. Toothless, yet this biological machine consumes 30,000 termites each day. When cornered, those massive claws are powerful enough to force a jaguar to retreat. As night falls, termite mounds ignite, glowing with an eerie emerald luminescence. Luminous beetle larvae entice winged insects, weaving a deadly, glowing trap. From primordial wilderness to glittering mounds, Mother Nature's relentless law remains absolute. Deep within the untamed expanse of Mother Nature, giants navigate the merciless tides of time, while an ancient tension hangs over the great jungle. Two supreme rulers of different realms stand on the brink of an inevitable clash, beneath the watchful eyes of the Amazon canopy. Below, the lurking caiman remains frozen in the murky abyss, its cold gaze fixed upon the shifting tree line. A jaguar ascends the ancient trunk, razor claws digging deep into bark, driven by a primordial instinct to conquer the heights. Sensory alert. Birds scatter in panic as the spotted apex predator encroaches upon the domain of the skies. High above, the harpy eagle turns its lethal crown eyes sharp as steel, guarding its sacred stronghold against the intruder. No blood is shed today, but the sacred balance of the jungle wavers at this critical tipping point. A three-toed sloth moves with agonizing slow precision, a quiet relic of a forgot age, oblivious to the drama unfolding above. Wildfire sweeps the horizon, forcing every individual in the food chain to retreat into the cooling waters. The jaguar drifts along the river current, claiming its dominance, a true biological machine forged for total survival. Its thunderous roar echoes through the woods, declaring that on this earth, its law of elimination remains absolute. Yet every monarch is invincible only within its own realm, as the ancient order holds for another fleeting day. Underneath the leaf litter, millions of army ants march in endless formation, a relentless tide culling all in their wake. Where life thrives, the fight to the death never truly ceases, it merely shifts to new grounds. Leaving the great jungle behind, the scorched savanna opens its sun-baked gates to a new and ferocious challenger. On the parched red earth, a spotted hyena prowls near a dark burrow, its hunger piqued by a scent in the wind. Emerging from the dry brush comes a shadowy force, the honey badger, possessing the most reckless heart in Mother Nature's kingdom. Claws digging into the dirt, it advances without a trace of fear against its ancient nemesis. Relying on brute size, the hyena thrusts forward, attempting to breach the subterranean haven where the badger's young resides. Protecting its offspring is the ultimate survival instinct, and this mother will fight to the death. The hyena desperately digs at the narrow entrance, determined to drag out its prize. Suddenly, the small warrior bursts forth like a thunderbolt, razor jaws snapped wide in pure defiance. The sheer frenzy of this tiny apex creature forces the larger predator to recoil in shock. The hyena clamps its massive jaws onto the badger, attempting to crush the tenacious creature through sheer force. Irony of evolution. Loose, thick skin allows the honey badger to twist inside its own hide and counterattack. Even when swarmed by the pack, this fearless biological machine strikes back with unrelenting fury. Its unyielding sheer tenacity and sharp talons compel the giant invaders to back off. In this wasteland, victory belongs not to the largest but to the most unyielding spirit. Defeated and bloodied, the hyenas slink away into the dust, abandoning their assault on the stronghold. Another brutal chapter of survival comes too, a close proving that courage can overcome raw size. Across another corner of the savannah, the supreme ruler of the open plains prepares to reveal herself. The air grows heavy with dread as a herd of topy antelope senses an unseen threat in the dry wind. Concealed within the golden blades, the amber eyes of a lioness lock onto her target with absolute focus. Lowering her lethal body with lethal grace, she blends seamlessly into the dried landscape. An agonizing eternal silence hangs over the plains right before the lightning strikes. Explosive speed. The apex creature surges forward in a blinding blur of muscle and fury. In a split second, she impacts the prey, dragging the antelope down beneath the shadow of an acacia. A fatal throat lock, crushing the windpipe, leaving the victim zero chance of escape. The relentless chase ends with a masterclass in ambush engineered by millions of years of evolution. The terrified herd scatters across the horizon, leaving the kill in the hands of the undisputed queen. As twilight falls, scarlet hues paint the vast savanna, bringing forth the scavengers of the dusk. The merciless dry season drains every drop of vitality, pushing all life to the absolute edge. Yet in this dire scarcity, the spotted hyena showcases its true genius for survival. It prowls tirelessly, tracking the faint scent trail left behind by apex predators. Requiring neither extreme speed nor stealth, its greatest weapon is infinite patience. While larger beasts collapse from exhaustion, the hyena trudges forward through the scorching heat. To this opportunistic hunter, every abandoned bone or scrap of flesh is a priceless gift of life. Crushing jaws capable of splintering marrow allow it to clean the wasteland down to the dust. Dragging a heavy bone under the blazing sun, it marches onward in an endless cycle of endurance. Yet the wild is not merely a place of slaughter, it is also the cradle of new beginnings. In a secluded corner of the grass, a new life prepares to enter this brutal ecosystem. A mother topi collapses onto the earth, giving birth to her calf amidst intense agony and vulnerability. Fragile and trembling, the newborn calf attempts to stand on spindly legs for the very first time. The mother hurriedly licks her newborn, frantically erasing all traces of scent and birth blood. For in a world overrun by killers, a single moment of delay can spell total catastrophe. A short distance away, sinister eyes peer through the tall, dry brush. The hyena has caught the scent. It fixes its hungry gaze upon the defenseless calf, craved fresh prey born into its territory. The most fragile moment of rebirth is simultaneously the ultimate opportunity for the predator. Stealthily creeping forward step by step, the hyena closes the distance toward mother and child. The topi mother snaps her head up in high alert. Can she shield her precious flesh and blood? A newly ignited flame of life now faces the most harrowing test of survival imaginable. Looming shadows tight there, grip waiting for the slightest mistake to strike a fatal blow. Sniffing the thick air, the hyena steps out into the open face to face with the desperate mother. Which way will the sacred balance tip in this uncompromising theater of life and death? Will maternal devotion triumph over the merciless hunger of the wild's premier scavenger? Against all odds, the calf finds its footing, taking its very first steps into a dangerous realm. Every passing second becomes a desperate race against time, a battle for the right to exist. The primordial cycle of the savanna surges forward, unending, unpredictable, and endlessly majestic. In this domain where only the fittest endure, every breath is a victory writ in blood and stamina. As the drama unfolds, the eternal laws of elimination dictate who shall reign and who shall perish. The Creator's grand design continues to turn the wheel of fate on these vast open plains. And so, the relentless saga of survival drives onwards, holding its breath for what comes next. Dangers loom from every shadow, testing the limits of instinct, devotion, and raw will to survive. For in the heart of Mother Nature's kingdom, the fight for tomorrow is never truly won. Each sunrise brings new trials, new predators, new prey, and a constant quest for eternal balance. Life persists against impossible odds, proving that the drive to survive is the ultimate power on Earth. Join us next time as we venture deeper into the wild, where the secrets of the natural world continue to unfold. And this unforgiving journey of existence continues to echo across the endless horizon. On the unforgiving savanna, an opportunistic predator locks its cold gaze upon a newborn life. Desperate to grant her calf precious seconds to stand, the mother frantically licks away the embryonic veil. Without a second's breath, the ruthless hyena lunges, a brutal bite into the flank. Exhausted from childbirth, the mother summoning her last survival instinct fights back against her ancient nemesis. Cruel fate intervenes. The hyena clan arrives, closing the circle of death, extinguishing every glimmer of hope. A bloody feast unfolds. In Mother Nature's arena, the law of elimination knows no mercy. Yet the drama is far from over. Out of the shadows, a pack of African wild dogs emerges. Striking like poisoned arrows, these relentless hunters press hard upon the arrogant predator. Surrounded on all sides, the ruthless hunter of moments ago becomes the helpless prey. Retreating into sharp thorn bushes, the hyena desperately twists to evade vicious, bone-crushing snaps. The clash ends in a tense stalemate. Such is the unpredictable game of survival on these boundless plains. To survive the constant peril, Topi antelopes convert towering termite mounds into vigilant watchtowers. At the slightest ripple in the distance, a high-pitched alarm echoes across the entire herd. A cheetah explodes forward like lightning, but the Topi vaults into action at 70 kilometers per hour. A breathtaking escape leaves the apex creature empty-handed, forced to watch its prize vanish into dust. Their ultimate defensive weapon powerful, ridge-ringed, S-shaped horns forged by millions of years of evolution. With majestic poise, they deflect incoming blows, safeguarding the herd against every prowling threat. Under the watchful eyes of the collective, a vulnerable young calf wobbly takes its very first steps. Across the endless expanse of the Serengeti, every living soul must remain eternally prepared for combat. Dominant Topi males clash violently, entering a fight to the death to establish undisputed territorial domination. Dropping onto their front knees, they lock their formidable curved horns in a testament of brute strength. Even in the heat of battle, their eyes scan the horizon, wary of hidden enemies lurking in the grass. Deep beneath the murky surface, giant hippos lie motionless, taking refuge from the brutal midday heat. Along the treacherous marshlands, Topi herds maintain a cautious distance, refusing to step too close to the water's edge. A herd of impalas steps down with immense precision, sipping the cool water with heightened senses. Single file, thousands of wildebeest forge across the river, painting the majestic spectacle of the Great Migration. A solitary Topi scales the highest mound, standing like an ancient monument to keep watch over the wilderness. At the faintest foreign sound, a silent pulse of alarm instantly radiates through the entire sanctuary. Small birds resting on thorny branches forage for seeds while maintaining a vigilant eye on the open sky. Amidst the sun-scorched grass, a Topi rests peacefully, its ears swiveled to catch every whispering breeze. Zebras graze peacefully alongside them, forging a formidable evolutionary alliance for mutual survival. Every imprinted hoofbeat and distant scent carried on the wind dictates a life-or-death decision. A haunting call echoes from afar, binding the scattered individuals into a single, cohesive unit. Startled, a Topi turns, abruptly catching the faint, shadowy movement of a stalker in the thicket. Zebras raise their heads in perfect unison, ready to explode into motion at the first sign of danger. This seamless harmony allows them to endure the most merciless seasons thrown upon them by Mother Nature. A lioness slinks through tall vegetation while a herd of elephants lumbers past, undisturbed by her presence. Tense impalas strain their ears, decoding every minute vibration echoing through the savanna grass. A majestic male impala with long spiral horns stands tall, serving as a living shield for his herd. Nearby, spotted hyenas clash violently with vultures over a rotting carcass beside a stagnant waterhole. Equipped with massive, bone-crushing biological machinery, The hyenas splinter dry ribs without leaving a trace. Even when nothing remains but sun-bleached bones, their primordial instinct drives them to gnaw until the end. They linger beneath the feet of giant elephants, seizing every narrow chance to scavenge a meal. As dusk paints the sky in shades of molten orange, it heralds the arrival of a night of relentless hunting. Perched on barren branches, sharp-eyed vultures scan the landscape like feathered grim reapers. Circling overhead on vast wings, they draw an ominous tightening loop around the dying landscape. Spotting a fresh carcass, they dive from the heavens, locking talons in a frenzy for flesh. Back in sun-baked Kenya, July heralds the merciless tide of time and blistering heat. With temperatures reaching 38 degrees, the dry season converts the landscape into a desolate wasteland. The mighty Mara River shrinks into sticky mud pools, where desperate herds gather for the last drops of life. From the golden thicket steps the supreme ruler, a majestic lion reigning over 400 square kilometers. As all creatures bow before the king, deadly vipers slither quietly across the sun-scorched earth bound to the eternal cycle of life. Across the scorching wasteland, 3 vectors of sudden death lie silently in wait, targeting the mortal vulnerabilities of an apex creature, oblivious to the impending fight to the death. As the merciless tide of time shrinks the water holes, Mother Nature forces the supreme ruler of the land into the domain of its ancient nemesis. At dawn's light, a mother leads her pride across their eastern territory. Young individuals moving with reckless confidence, unaware of the lurking predator. Concealed within the tall grass, a lethal biological machine prepares its attack. The Mozambique-spitting cobra. Small in stature, yet a devastating force within the food chain. Through 60 million years of evolution, dual fangs emerged as precision artillery, adjusting their trajectories independently to strike the prey's eyes with 90% accuracy. A faint strike, triggering the lion's survival instinct. As the mother recoils, twin streams of lethal venom launch directly into her gaze. Agony. The venom corrodes the delicate cornea in mere hours, exposing a fatal biological weakness in the majestic hunter. No natural antibodies exist to shield her from this chemical assault. Experience is her only salvation, paid for in bitter suffering. Yet this encounter is merely the first brutal lesson dictated by the law of elimination. 2 hours later, the pride pushes deeper into the thorny brush, entering the undisputed realm of an invisible killer, a relic of a forgot age. Suppressing all scent, the puff adder becomes one with the earth. Can the pride detect this unseen trap before another tragedy unfolds? Every hunting instinct fails. A young lion passes inches away, completely unaware. One misstep, and severe tissue necrosis will claim the limb. A death sentence in the great jungle. Under the scorching sun, the herd pauses near the last stronghold of life. Across the banks, an extraordinary beast enters the cycle of life. The fearless honey badger. Driven by primordial instinct, it attacks, clamping onto the venomous serpent. A furious struggle, and then absolute silence. The badger collapses, motionless. To any other creature, this would be the final breath. But 2 hours later, a miracle of cellular rebirth. The badger stirs, rising to finish its feast. Modified neural receptors form an impenetrable shield, designed by the creator to block deadly toxins. Rescuing this creature from the edge of eternal silence. Physical size, is never the sole measure of survival. While mighty lions bow to microscopic venom, other persistent warriors maintain the sacred balance of Mother Nature. In the dry earth, a meerkat family trains its young. Lesson 1. Relentless excavation. Lesson 2. Disarming the venomous sting of scorpions with surgical mastery. Now comes the ultimate test on the tipping point of survival. Will these small pups conquer their ancient nemesis in the endless struggle for domination? Across the sun-scorched wasteland, a deadly Cape Cobra glides through the shimmering heat, driven by relentless survival instinct to devour a helpless, isolated youngling. Yet this cold-blooded assassin has forgot the eternal law of the desert, where no individual ever traverses the burning sands alone. From the subterranean shadows, the herd surges forward as one. Rising tall, they forge an impenetrable wall of defiance against the supreme predator. The ring of death tides mercilessly transforming the feared hunter into isolated prey. Overwhelmed by collective fury, the serpent is forced into bitter retreat. As the desert dust settles, a new fight to the death looms upon the horizon. What unfolds when the supreme ruler of the savannah crosses paths with the dark phantom of the wild? Observe the banded mongoose beneath their acacia shadow, a compact biological machine possessing lightning reflexes, honed by millennia of brutal evolution. Armed with altered neural receptors, its blood effortlessly neutralizes lethal neurotoxins, allowing it to execute a terrifying, victorious dance of death. With a single, devastating strike, the mongoose crushes its ancient nemesis, leaving behind a grim testament to Mother Nature's unyielding law of elimination. Now, the true spectral terror of the wasteland emerges from the tall grass, the legendary black mamba, tearing across the landscape at 20 kilometers per hour. As Africa's swiftest serpent, it plunges every creature into primordial despair. A single strike delivers a two-tier venomous deluge, destroying life within 20 agonizing minutes. Though it strikes only when cornered at the tipping point of survival, its venomous blade never misses its mark, a relentless harbinger of the eternal silence. As shadow falls over the savannah, the mamba retreats to its ancient stronghold, a deep subterranean sanctuary carved beneath the twisted roots of a lone acacia tree. Unbeknownst to the serpent, colossal danger lurks mere meters from its threshold. A lioness rests nearby, her vision severely impaired from a prior toxic encounter. Her vulnerable cubs huddle close in the heavy, oppressive twilight, oblivious to the grim shadow creeping through the dry leaves. Despite her agonizing pain, primordial maternal instinct forces the lioness upright, shielding her bloodline from the lurking phantom. Rising high with flared hood, the black mamba emits a chilling warning, a declaration of absolute dominance over its sacred territory. A fragile 40 meters now separates a weakened apex creature from the world's most deadly poison, the razor-thin boundary between life and total destruction. As blood-red sunset paints the horizon, the great jungle holds its breath. Who shall prevail in this uncompromising fight to the death? Lacking standard hearing, the serpent senses the approach of rivals through low-frequency vibrations, carried through its lower jawbone directly from the scorched earth. In this suffocating 40-degree heat, the subterranean burrow remains a critical lifeline regulating body temperature to preserve vital metabolic enzymes. To abandon this stronghold now is a direct path to annihilation. As the distance closes to 5 meters, the mamba locks into combat stance. Rearing its upper body, it flares its black gullet in ultimate threat. But an inquisitive lion cub foolishly lunges forward, snapping at the coiled serpent. Ambushed, the mamba strikes with blinding speed. Coiling violently around its attacker's neck, it plunges hyper-lethal neurotoxins deep into the cub's flesh. Panic erupts. The stricken predator thrushes wildly into the muddy pool, battling against the merciless tide of rapidly spreading venom. Suffocation sets in agonizing pain, collapses the mighty beast into the dark waters. The mortality rate is absolute zero chance of survival. The young lion falls silent upon the sand, eyes closing forever. The mamba glides away into the dusk, leaving behind a frozen, icy stillness. Though tragedy claims the pride, the cycle of life spins endlessly on. Across another corner of the golden savanna, a master assassin moves through the swaying grass, the serval. Lacking massive size, this apex creature compensates with unmatched efficiency, boasting a hunting success rate double that of the supreme Lion King. Guided by oversized radar-like ears and lightning reflexes, it pinpoints hidden prey beneath the brush, executing lethal strikes with mathematical precision. Yet danger lurks in the parched flora. A deadly puff adder lies coiled in silent ambush, its venomous fangs capable of delivering instant death. Instead of fleeing, the serval advances. The viper lunges through the air, with explosive fury, a strike meant to shatter life. Leaping high into the sky, the serval effortlessly dodges. Landing gracefully, it rains down a barrage of lightning-fast paw slaps upon the serpent's head. Dazzled and disoriented, the venomous predator loses control of the fight. The feline dominates every movement, turning terror into an art form. Seizing that tipping point, the serval lunges. A brutal bite snaps the viper's neck and shatters its spine, instantly paralyzing the deadly foe. With meticulous care, the victor inspects its fallen adversary, securing the prize firmly within its jaws, a masterclass in predatory instinct. In this merciless wilderness, ultimate triumph belongs only to the swift and fearless. The hazardous gamble yields a well-deserved feast fit for a king. Striding proudly through the Golden Kingdom, the feline carries its lethal trophy, a testament to the supreme balance carved by Mother Nature herself. As twilight descends upon the boundless plains, life and death continue their eternal, rhythmic dance under the watchful eyes of the ancient wilderness. The serval fades into the vast horizon, leaving behind a landscape ruled by primordial laws, where every breath is earned, and only the adaptable endure. As shadows fall upon the scorching wasteland, a magnificent bait lure eagle wheels high above, governed by the merciless laws of survival. Scanning the vast savanna with unyielding vision, this apex predator reigns supreme over the primordial ground below. Perched upon a withered branch, it embodies the ancient nemesis of all creeping reptiles, waiting for the tipping point. Its sharp talons act like a biological machine, capable of unleashing a terrifying mechanical force. Beneath the dust lies the prey, an aggressive forest cobra, the undisputed terror of the underworld. The eagle dives like a spear, ripping through the wind. A violent fight to the death erupts amidst the rising dust. Armored in thick, heavy scales, its legs form an impenetrable shield against lethal venomous fangs. Yet upon the open plain, another supreme ruler stalks the grass. The secretary bird, heavy infantry of the wild. Standing over a meter tall with extraordinary legs, it possesses the devastating striking power of an elite kickboxer. Concealed within a hollow trunk, a deadly viper remains oblivious to the relentless approach of death. A thunderous stomp delivers a crushing blow. Thousands of pounds of force smash directly into their opponent's skull. In a mere 15 milliseconds, the threat is eliminated, extinguishing any chance of retaliation. The fallen creature becomes a vital meal, confirming the absolute domination of this ground warrior. 2 kilometers north, a lioness rests in the shade beside a shrinking waterhole as scorching heat consumes the land. In this desolate season, the last remaining oasis becomes a magnet for both the thirsty and the deadly. Submerged beneath murky shallows, an African rock python patiently executes a radically different hunting strategy. Measuring over 5 meters and weighing 70 kilograms, it is capable of swallowing prey twice its own mass. Thirsty antelopes lower their heads to drink, temporarily blinded to the severe danger lurking beneath. Lacking explosive speed for a long chase, the serpent relies on primordial instinct and absolute patience in ambush. A heavy wildebeest steps near, but the python remains dead still, avoiding a perilous battle with a giant. Even as a sharp-tusked warthog approaches, the hidden predator endures the weight, clinging to eternal silence. Then, 3 naive lion cubs wander carelessly toward the water's edge to quench their burning thirst. Their complete lack of experience transforms these young individuals into prime targets for elimination. Gliding silently downwind, the aquatic killer glides closer without stirring a single drop of water. At a mere 2 meters, the cub senses the ancient menace. Too late, a thunderous strike flashes in the blink of an eye. In under 1 second, suffocating muscular coils lock into place. The cub roars in anguish, struggling helplessly within the inescapable grasp of Mother Nature's assassin. Breathing stops. The line between life and death narrows to a perilous tipping point. Yet the python made a fatal miscalculation, attacking an individual surrounded by its pride. Its biological weaponry was perfected solely for solitary ambush, not collective combat. The remaining cubs charge instantly, biting frantically to liberate their fallen sibling from death. Overwhelmed by the brutal assault, the python releases its victim and flees into the depths. 8 terror-filled seconds of constriction leave the young lion limping for 3 full days. From this day forth, the familiar waterhole is etched into memory as a domain of extreme peril. Will survival instinct force them back when dry season heat scorches their very souls? Nightfall envelops the vast wasteland, leaving the hungry pride to endure another day without prey. Vital calories were squandered on defense, burning deep into their precious energy reserves. Yet preserving every member of the herd is the ultimate victory in the unyielding food chain. For in this eternal wilderness, there are no easy triumphs, only the steep price paid for life. As darkness claims the endless horizon, the endless cycle of life continues its timeless course. As the merciless tide of time sweeps across the sun-scorched wasteland, hunger awakens a ferocious primordial instinct. Here in this merciless domain, the delicate boundary between predator and prey is forged in violence. A desperate hunter leaps, straining every sinew for the ultimate kill. Impact. 10,000 newtons of devastating force shatter, the silence crushing flesh and bone. Blood splatters upon the dusty earth as the apex creature retreats into agony and humiliation. 6 brutal weeks of relentless drought lie ahead, where 3 out of 4 hunts end in tragic failure. Starving cubs watch in quiet despair, forcing a young lioness to bear the heavy burden of survival alone. Weighing 130 kilograms, this solitary warrior targets an ancient nemesis, an aged zebra. Bursting from the thicket, she surges forward in a desperate, breathless sprint. She leaps for the throat, but a deadly counter-strike shatters her jaw. Darkness falls instantly. Dazed and bleeding, the defeated hunter collapses, her empty stomach crying out in the barren dust. In Mother Nature's relentless arena, survival is never a one-sided game. Beneath their calm demeanor lies explosive aggression. These striped biological machines do not merely defend their herd, they actively dominate the wasteland, driving away rival species. With lethal hooves and fierce territorial drive, warthogs and antelopes flee before their merciless power. Far beyond the African savanna, across the vast North American wilderness, the law of elimination reigns equally absolute. A half-ton moose wading through freezing waters draws the hungry eyes of a formidable grizzly bear. For 30 grueling minutes, long legs navigate treacherous currents, leading the powerful predator into a battle of pure endurance. Exhausted, the apex creature abandons the pursuit, knowing a single kick from the moose could crush its skull. Returning to the African horizon, another titan stands tall under the golden twilight, the majestic giraffe. Possessing a thunderous kick capable of delivering immense pressure, no single lion dares challenge this giant. Only through perfect tactical harmony can the entire pride hope to bring down a target weighing over a ton. Roars echo. They charge, but an explosive kick hurls a lioness violently onto the bone-dry earth. Defeated once more, the supreme ruler of the savannah lies in the shadows, licking its wounds as eternal darkness falls. Across the scorched wasteland of the Maupine Plains, a failed hunt offers no respite from the relentless survival instinct that governs all life. Here, an ancient nemesis awaits the solitary African buffalo, a heavy armored biological machine known to nomads as the Black Death. Cast out from the herd, this battle-hardened individual wields massive bossed horns, a lethal weapon forged for a fight to the death. 200 meters away in the dry brush, a young 3-year-old lion lies low, driven by a primordial instinct to conquer and dominate. To claim his territory and earn his place among the apex creatures, he must single-handedly destroy this formidable supreme ruler of the brush. Holding his breath, the predator stalks forward, waiting for the single careless moment that reveals a fatal weakness. He leaps. An explosive burst of pure muscle quells the dust as claws tear into flesh. A textbook strike taught by his pride, yet Mother Nature favors no reckless youth. The titan surges back to its feet, shaking the earth with violent fury. Bone horns gash the air, launching the young king into space. A crushing hind kick strikes like a sledgehammer, shattering ribs in an instant. Broken, bleeding, and humbled, the wounded hunter retreats, fleeing the merciless law of elimination. Licking his wounds in silence, he learns the ultimate lesson of the wild. A fractured ribcage in this wasteland is a slow death sentence. But Mother Nature grants no sanctuary, for a far greater spectacle of survival is bearing down upon the ancient landscape. August arrives in the Masai Mara, initiating the Great Migration. 1.5 million living souls moving as a single, trembling organism. Like a dark tsunami, the wildebeest herd reaches the raging torrents of the Mara River, the tipping point between life and total destruction. Beneath the swirling murky deep, a relic of a forgot age lies in wait, the Nile crocodile, a cold-blooded killing machine. Having endured 10 months of starvation, these ancient apex creatures' patience is rewarded as the bloody feast begins. Thousands of frantic prey plunge blindly off steep cliffs into the churning abyss. Roaring waters blend with desperate cries in a tragic symphony of terror. Their reptilian predators strike like torpedoes, locking armored jaws onto helpless flesh. The death roll begins, dragging victims down into the eternal silence below. The Mara runs thick with red crimson, as dozens of leviathans tear the catch apart. Zebras trample one another in mass hysteria, clawing desperately toward the far bank. One hesitation in this bloodbath, and the law of elimination claims your soul. Jaws snap shut with 300 kilograms of crushing force, leaving no chance for escape. Driven by an unyielding biological instinct, the herd presses forward despite the horrific sacrifice demanded by the sacred balance. Through sheer stamina, a fortunate few scramble ashore, escaping the shadow of the swamp rulers waiting in the depths. The merciless tide of time flows endlessly onward. Today's survivor may become tomorrow's prey, as the eternal cycle of life and rebirth continues unbroken across the great wild. Driven by an unrelenting survival instinct, a solitary lioness walks the edge of the boundless wasteland. Without a herd or territory to call her own, she answers only to the ancient laws of Mother Nature. In the shadow of defeat, she gathers young females to forge a new empire from primordial resilience. Perched high upon the sun-baked earth, these formidable hunters calculate their next move in absolute silence. Across the river, a herd of zebra feeds blissfully unaware, destined to become prey in their eternal food chain. Low to the ground, every biological muscle tense, the apex predators prepare to strike. They move as one biological machine, bound by instinct, closing the dead zone around their chosen victim. Though failure claims 3 out of 4 hunts, evolution favors those who endure the merciless tide of time. The strike is unleashed. A frantic rush. Hooves thunder. Dust erupts into the sky. A roar echoes for 8 kilometers. A declaration of war across the open prairie. The zebra scatter. But the hunt is suddenly cut short by an ancient nemesis. Emerging from the brush, a massive force of 900 kilograms steps forward to shatter the lion's ambition. Armed with deadly, scythe-like horns, this supreme ruler of the herd challenges the predators head-on. The entire herd gathers, forming an impenetrable wall of living armor to safeguard the vulnerable young. High alertness maintains the sacred balance. A fortress of flesh against which no predator dares charge. Yet beneath this united front, their internal fight for domination burns hot within their herd. Horns lock in brutal combat, clashing violently as dust swirls around their rival bulls. Amidst the chaos, a shadowy opportunist emerges. The spotted hyena, a cold-blooded assassin of the savannah. Often dismissed as mere scavengers, their predatory prowess boasts a lethal 95% success rate. Unmatched stamina allows these ruthless killers to pursue their quarry to the absolute limit of exhaustion. Sprinting through deep waters, a swift, bone-crushing bite leaves the flamingo no chance to escape. Their strength lies in absolute matriarchy, ruled by aggressive females overflowing with primordial instinct. The dominant matriarch commands the collective memory of the pack, enforcing the law of elimination. Rank disputes are vicious, while the males remain trapped at the absolute bottom of the social order. Meanwhile, a jackal relies on its keen scent, unaware it is being shadowed as a living radar. The hyena waits for the smaller predator to find food, then sweeps in to steal the prize. Now a far greater tragedy unfolds. The hyena matriarch catches the scent of the jackal's hidden den. Eliminating the young of rival species is a dark necessity, securing future food sources in the wasteland. Desperate motherly love risks everything to distract the killers. Can instinct defy the jaws of death? In the merciless arena of the wild, the small predator fights valiantly, yet cannot escape the relentless pressure of the herd. The hyena clan moves with brutal efficiency, claiming another's hard-won prey to conserve their own vitality for greater conquests. Overpowered by raw brute force, the solitary hunter surrenders its prize, forced to watch from the shadows of defeat. Only bare bone scraps remain. Yet deep within the dark sanctuary of the den, the next generation remains safe from harm. As hunger gnaws at their very souls, a distant call echoes across the wasteland, the ancient signal of the Great Migration. Driven mad by primordial instinct, young hyenas venture into the vast plains without the guiding wisdom of their matriarch. Without discipline, reckless ambition leads to absolute disaster. The vigilant prey easily anticipates their clumsy strikes, effortless in escape. Impulsive hunger yields nothing but exhaustion, leaving the reckless youths weaker beneath the unyielding sun. Only when eternal silence falls with the shroud of night do the true masters of death emerge. With night vision evolved over millennia, the veteran alpha selects an isolated target, weakened, exhausted, ripe for the law of elimination. Desperate, the prey lunges into the raging river, walking straight into a deadly trap. The crushing resistance of the water seals its fate. The matriarch and her daughter strike with terrifying, calculated precision. The waters turn crimson. A death rattle echoes like a dark war horn, summoning the clan to the feast of rebirth. Here, the supreme ruler reclaims her throne, passing down sacred hunting lore to her heir in this eternal cycle of life. Leaving this brutal battleground, the relentless tide of time carries us to the ancient sun-baked expanse of the Namib Desert, a desolate realm spanning thousands of treacherous kilometers, where rain is a forgot myth and Mother Nature tests the limits of existence. 60 degrees of scorching fire by day, plunging to absolute freezing when night claims the towering 300-meter dunes. In Earth's oldest wasteland, What incredible miracles of survival lie hidden within these shifting red sands, where extreme heat incinerates all life. Small tracks endure, defying the merciless rule of total annihilation. Two orphaned desert lionesses, Nara and Xena, trek across the abyss, carrying modern satellite collars, relics of human guardianship. Starving after weeks of futile hunting, survival instincts force them beyond their historic domain toward the roaring ocean, where scorching sands collide with frigid polar ocean currents, lies the Skeleton Coast, an infamous graveyard of forgot ships. Ancient legends call this place where the Creator forged in fury. Yet for these apex creatures, it is their last stronghold of hope. Over 200,000 fur seals swarm the sharp rocks, their deafening roars echoing across kilometers of wild coastline. Massive 200-kilogram beasts armored in thick blubber, prey no desert lion was ever evolved to hunt. Under cover of midnight darkness, Nara stalks with deadly patience, cutting off an isolated seal from its oceanic sanctuary. She explodes forward, lightning speed across jagged stone. 8 seconds, a fatal strike to the throat. Rich marine flesh sustains their biological machines, as they learn to extract life, giving moisture directly from blood. Traversing over 50 grueling kilometers each day, these magnificent predators rewrite the ancient laws of survival through profound evolution. Playful childhood lessons transform into vital mastery, ensuring their lineage triumphs as they conquer new realms in the unending cycle of life. Having struck down their marine prey in a swift assault, Nara and Xena press forward without hesitation. From stalking elusive seabirds to scavenging carcasses and ambushing adults, they master every link in the food chain. Though failing 8 times out of 10, a year of relentless evolution elevates their lethality, resurrecting a primordial instinct dormant for 35 years. After 18 months, ocean life sustains 80% of their diet, bridging the scorching wasteland with the endless realm of Mother Nature's deep sea. As the merciless sun bakes the Namib Desert, a new arena for survival unveils its ancient law of elimination, where every living individual wields a specialized biological weapon. Consider the springbok. Weighing barely 40 kilograms, this fragile prey species unleashes explosive surges exceeding 80 kilometers per hour across scorching sands. Through extraordinary vertical leaps known as pronking 2 meters into the air, 15 meters across it sends a defying message to every apex creature chasing me is futile. Requiring almost no water, this resilient herbivore remains the crucial link sustaining carnivores across the vast wasteland, from cheetahs and leopards to lions and wild dogs. Nearby, the Hartmann's mountain zebra dons a marvel of evolutionary armor. Alternating stripes manipulate solar radiation, generating cool convective air currents directly over its skin. Equipped with specialized hooves to conquer sheer cliffs, it proves that survival is a matter of choosing the ultimate battleground. Even smaller beasts master the severe terrain. The Namaqua chameleon alters its skin pigment, darkening at dawn to absorb warmth, turning brilliant pale at noon to reflect the inferno. And when an unsuspecting beetle wanders past, a lethal, adhesive tongue strikes with absolute precision. While Nara and Xena conserve energy in the shade, a silent shadow emerges. The cheetah, the ultimate biological machine of pure velocity, staking its life on pure speed. Lightweight bones, enlarged lungs, anti-glare tear tracks under its eyes, built solely for hyperacceleration. From complete standstill to 100 kilometers per hour, in under 3 seconds. It drops low, eyes locked on target, The prey grazes, blissfully unaware. 30 seconds of muscle capacity. Beyond 300 meters. Total physiological collapse. The predator erupts. A blur of primal force tearing through the wind. A sharp jinking turn from the prey. The lethal swipe misses. The kill is lost. Heaving violently in the suffocating heat, it requires 30 minutes to recover. But scenting blood, lions and hyenas close in. Forced to retreat. Trading raw combat power for absolute speed, it yields two supreme rivals. Yet in the Namib wasteland, survival belongs not only to apex predators. Beneath the baking sand, tiny creatures forge their own destiny. A humble beetle stands head down, harvesting precious morning fog. Specialized exoskeleton channels precious moisture directly into its mouth, accumulating 40% of its weight in water. From fog-licking geckos to ambush vipers, all sustain the sacred balance of survival. Across the scorched wasteland, two hungry sisters stalk their target, the legendary armored oryx. Drawn by lush vegetation, the majestic prey steps closer, unaware of Nara lurking in the shadows. Dawn breaks upon red sand dunes, a fleeting window for the ancient supreme ruler to strike. Nara coils her muscular body, eyes locked in absolute focus, primed for the kill. She explodes forward like a lethal arrow. The prey panics, desperately bolting across their expanse. Nara leaps onto its back. But in the relentless arena of Mother Nature, fate twists violently. Deadly horns swing round. A razor-thin margin separates survival from a fight to the death. Overheating sets in rapidly. This failed ambush has completely drained the predator's vital energy. No apex creature can sprint beyond 200 meters without collapse from lethal heat stroke. Yet the oryx endures 10 minutes of intense pursuit, saved by deep-rooted survival instinct. With a heavy breath, the solitary hunters retreat, proving single-handed hunts rarely guarantee success. Starving cubs wait in the brush. Failure brings agonizing starvation to the entire pride. 9 out of 10 hunts end in loss. Unyielding patience remains the ultimate key to evolution. Nara rests under fragile shade, pondering how her prey thrives in this unrelenting wasteland. Specialized blood vessels cool its brain, allowing this biological machine to withstand 45 degrees Celsius. Enduring weeks without open water, it extracts life-saving moisture even from toxic desert foliage. Beyond endurance, this formidable herbivore uses spear-like horns to pierce the flesh of any predator. Yet its ultimate weapon is memory. Ancient herd matriarchs remember hidden subterranean springs. Nara and Xena must master such instinct to lead their pride through the merciless dry season. Severe drought forces all species toward a single oasis, where massive desert giants dominate. Under crushing pressure, the two sisters must maintain their unyielding primordial instinct. Cunning scavengers prowl the perimeter as another terrifying tipping point approaches. Demonic cackles shatter the eternal silence, heralding a treacherous clash over territory. Boasting a crushing bite force of 4,500 newtons, they easily splinter thick bones. Guided by a dominant matriarch, an 80-strong clan effortlessly overpowers the apex creature to steal its prey. This terrifying collective power crowns them absolute masters of the endless savanna ecosystem. Yet in another corner, a towering 6-meter giraffe faces its own date with destiny. Bending low to drink, that magnificent neck transforms into a fatal biological vulnerability. Ambushed from behind, it unleashes a lethal kick, delivering 2,000 pounds of raw force. Massive pillar-like legs crash down, sending the terrified predator fleeing into the brush. Far from the savanna's chaos, the leopard treads a secret path of solitary domination. Night vision 6 times sharper than man's, and flawless camouflage make this ghost invisible. Without brute force, it silently eliminates its target, then hoists the heavy carcass high aloft. Suspending food in high branches is the only way to defy ruthless scavengers down below. Such calculated stealth represents the supreme adaptation in Mother Nature's infinite arsenal. Upon the harsh skeleton coast, a brown hyena embarks on a relentless nocturnal quest. It traverses 50 kilometers of ocean shore, seeking washed-up relics of the deep. An extraordinary sense of smell detects decaying organic matter over 1 kilometer away. Comprising 70% of its diet, rotting flesh is the true lifeline of this wanderer. Do not despise this lowly scavenger without its presence. Deadly plague would devour the realm. Cleansing the desert coastline, it maintains the sacred balance of the great cycle of life. As the red dust settles over the scorching wasteland, 2 lionesses share a meager kill dug from the parched earth. This small meal barely touches the gnawing hunger of their pride. Nara rests against Xena, their physical limits severely tested. Chasing swift prey beneath this blazing sun is absolute suicide. Miles away lies an oasis hidden in the crimson Namib Desert. Across 70 kilometers, this is the last stronghold of water. Hundreds of creatures gather, creating a deadly battleground. Where Mother Nature gathers life, she sets a lethal trap. Concealed behind a sand dune, Nara ambushes her target. Waiting at the waterhole is the pride's sole path to survival. Their ultimate weapon is not raw speed, but absolute patience. Patience allows these apex predators to conserve vital energy. Enduring 2 weeks of starvation is common in severe drought. In extreme heat, 3 weeks may pass between successful hunts. Adult desert lions endure, but fragile cubs cannot wait long. A giraffe splays its legs to drink beside a watchful ostrich. With eyes larger than its brain, it detects motion miles away. The cry of a pied crow signals the approaching oryx herd. Sharpened horns stand ready to pierce an enemy's chest. Primordial instinct warns that death lurks near every waterhole. From the dune crest, Nara leaps like a lethal arrow. A ferocious tackle slams her prey into the swirling dust. The oryx struggles violently, swinging its deadly horns. Nara clamps down on the throat, locking her heavy weight. From the dune, starving cubs watch this fight to the death. Overthrowing the giant, Nara collapses beside her bloody kill. After weeks of exhaustion, relentless hunger is finally pushed back. This is no glorious conquest, but a sheer drain of vitality. Barely 150 desert lions remain on our planet. The future of this species weighs heavily on growing cubs. Crucial lessons of survival will guide them on the path ahead. When their mothers are gone, they will write the next legend. Nara and Xena hold their cubs in shade, escaping the heat. Yet this harsh wasteland offers no permanent place to rest. The family marches forward again, searching for tomorrow's hope. Sunset over the Namib Desert dispels the suffocating heat. The law of nature reveals itself. No individual exists alone. A fog beetle catches precious moisture upon the sand dunes. That moisture feeds desert grass, sustaining the oryx herd. Desert elephants dig deep wells for the entire ecosystem to drink. Every link is tightly bound in the cycle of life and death. The prey feeds the lion, sustaining the sacred ecological balance. Towering red cliffs stand as relics of a forgot age. If one link snaps, the entire web of life will collapse. And the most fragile link in the Namib is human presence. When wildlife conservation meets livelihood, conflict flares brightly. Neither weapons nor fences offer solutions. Harmony is required. Local communities must see value in protecting these apex creatures. A guardian force was born, 50 Himba and Hero Rangers. By reporting lion locations, they prevent deadly clashes and loss. After 20 years, human-lion conflict fell by 70%. The lion population slowly recovered, reaching 150. The Namib asks a silent question: how to survive another day. A beetle tilts 45 degrees to catch the morning fog. The oryx cools its brain while its body reaches high heat. The ancient Welwitschia tree survives 2 millennia with 2 leaves. Nara and Xena lie patiently in ambush for 12 long days. There is no golden rule. The ultimate law: adapt or perish. This extraordinary endurance turns the desert into a living legend. The 2 sisters do not know they are relics of a rare species. They know only one command: advance forward at all costs. Having survived the brink of death, they rest on parched soil. Though full for now, their eternal struggle for survival never stops. They fix their gaze on new prey. Victory here is never permanent. The battle for survival continues as the sun sinks low. These 2 queens did not prevail through sheer muscle alone. They triumphed through supreme patience, waiting for the precise moment. Between power and persistence, which force truly defines domination? Leave your thoughts below as we explore deeper in our next episode. The Namib Desert is not the only stage for this dramatic trial. From East Africa's rolling grasslands to vast, distant horizons, each complex ecosystem offers its own answer to survival. Giraffes alongside zebras, every individual selects a unique strategy. Across the fertile Serengeti, the Great Migration thunderously unfolds. A lioness conceals her form within chest-high golden grass. She tracks every subtle movement of the herd from afar. Her coat merges with dry blades, turning a biological machine invisible. A majestic male lion roars, echoing 8 kilometers across the land. Yet the true burden of hunting rests upon the lioness. Their secret lies in masterwork strategy and silent stalking. Stealthily creeping forward, she targets the weakest prey. They tie the deadly ring without making a sound. The shifting wind carries scent, awakening primordial instincts. A single mistake, and a lightning strike decides all. Male lions lie in wait, ready to assist when chaos erupts. Perfect teamwork allows the pride to rule this dangerous landscape. Whether in sand dunes or vast savannas, the laws of nature endure. For in this wild kingdom, only the most resilient shall survive. Across the scorched expanse, 3 male lions march in silent unison, driven by primordial instinct. Speed belongs to the prey, but climbing the food chain demands calculating strategy. Concealed within the golden grass, the apex predator waits for the trap to spring. Yet, lions are not the sole supreme ruler in this unforgiving wasteland. The haunting laughter of the hyena echoes, once cursed as a cowardly scavenger. In truth, over 70% of their kill is won through grueling, relentless stamina. A bite engineered to crush bone, governed by a formidable matriarchy. When the pack unites, even the supreme ruler of the great jungle must retreat. Faced with relentless killers, the Topi antelope turns to a collective survival instinct. High upon a mound, a lone sentinel forsakes food, scanning the plains for danger. At the alarm, the entire herd surges like a wave, shattering the predator's plan. Where one hunter fails, another titan emerges, the Black Death of the plains. Weighing nearly a ton, this biological machine responds to threats with devastating force. Should a calf fall, the herd strikes back, repelling predators with cold steel horns. Driven by bitter memory, they relentlessly hunt their ancient nemesis for days. Yet amid constant peril, Mother Nature offers moments of serene rebirth. Crowned cranes dance in courtship, honoring the eternal cycle of life. Leaving the land behind, their eternal silence of their abyss reveals the ocean's grandest biological machine. The blue whale, stretching over 30 meters, reigns supreme in the deep blue. Low-frequency calls pierce the black waters, connecting individual souls across vast distances. Beside it, the whale shark glides, a majestic relic of a forgot age, filtering microscopic life through massive jaws. It embodies absolute patience, dappled skin marking each individual, crafted by the Creator for effortless survival. Back on the African savanna, relentless heat transforms the last stronghold into a dried wasteland. The Mara River shrinks to thick mud, forcing desperate creatures into deadly, concentrated conflict. A heavy male lion steps forth, enforcing territorial domination with absolute authority. Lesser beasts scatter before his presence, yielding to the ultimate apex creature. Yet, does any king hold supreme rule against the merciless law of elimination? 60 million years of evolution have forged Mother Nature's most lethal design, attacking from 3 deadly vectors. It prepares for a fight to the death. As tension mounts toward the tipping point, no creature escapes fate. The sacred balance is restored beneath the merciless tide of time. Across the scorched wasteland, the merciless tide of time presses heavily upon all creation, where water turns to mud and survival instinct reigns supreme. At dawn, the apex creature leads her vulnerable young across the border of their territory, unaware of the silent peril lurking mere inches away. Coiled within the golden grass lies an ancient nemesis, the Mozambique-spitting cobra, a small yet terrifying force in the sacred balance of Mother Nature. 60 million years of evolution have perfected 2 microgrooves inside its lethal fangs, allowing it to adjust venom trajectory with extreme precision. As curious cubs approach, it strikes. A feint draws the prey's gaze, followed instantly by 2 parallel streams of blinding venom. A single drop of this potent cytotoxin destroys the delicate cornea within hours, exposing a tragic biological blind spot in the sovereign ruler of the savanna. Lacking natural antibodies, the giant predator relies entirely on hard-won experience, where every lesson carries a price writ in life or death. As the pride pushes deeper into the dense brush, they enter the domain of a true ghost, an invisible predator that has completely erased its scent. Emitting no volatile organic compounds through skin or breath, This relic of a forgot age disappears entirely from the sensory landscape of the wild. A young lion passes within inches, completely blind to the coiled death below, where one misstep triggers the ultimate law of elimination. What looks like deadly laziness is actually the supreme art of ambush. A quiet, infinite patience that stands as the ultimate weapon of survival. Beneath the scorching noon sun, the pride halts at a drying waterhole, witnessing an astounding scene that defies the laws of the food chain. A honey badger collapses instantly under a lethal dose of neurotoxin. Yet for this ferocious creature, death is merely a brief intermission. 2 hours later, it awakens from its slumber, rising to devour its venomous prey in a defiant victory over the eternal silence. Millennia of molecular evolution reshaped its sugar receptors, forging a biological shield that prevents venom from locking onto vital nerves. Here, size is never the sole measure of domination. Mother Nature favors the adapted, bestowing survival upon those who master her secret mechanisms. Across the endless grasslands, even the smallest clan members must face the ultimate crucible. Surrogate pups, barely 2 weeks old, enter the school of life. Their first lesson: excavate the burning sands for hidden prey. Their second: disarm venomous scorpions with lightning reflexes and absolute precision. But the final test marks the razor-thin line between life and death. A direct encounter with the terrifying Cape Cobra. In this uncompromising arena, where neurotoxic venom can extinguish a life in seconds, primordial instinct and relentless training determine who will survive to reign over another dawn in the eternal cycle of life. Cornered by a deadly Cape Cobra, a solitary young surrogate faces the ultimate test of survival instinct. But the apex predator forgets the sacred balance. No individual in the herd ever stands alone. Rising as one living wall, their defiant cries shatter the eternal silence, driving the tyrant away. As the merciless tide of time brings the dry season, the wasteland becomes a lethal arena. Could even the supreme ruler of the great jungle survive a fight to the death with Africa's darkest nemesis? Look to the mongoose, a biological machine forged by evolution, wired with lightning-fast reflexes. Mutated DNA shields its bloodline, rendering deadly neurotoxins completely harmless in this ancient battle. A swift strike to the neck. The hunter becomes the prey, as the cycle of life continues. Now, a true nightmare awakens from the primordial abyss. The legendary, terrifying black mamba. Gliding at 20 kilometers per hour, this apex creature is the fastest serpent in Mother Nature. Its lethal venom carries a dual payload: cardiotoxins and neurotoxins, engineered for absolute domination. Within 20 minutes, every vital organ collapses, leaving behind total, merciless silence. At dusk, the killer slithers back to its sacred stronghold beneath an ancient acacia tree. By a cruel twist of fate, a lion pride rests merely 40 meters away. Distance shrinks. Vibrations reverberate through the snake's jaw. Primordial instinct triggers danger. Roars echo across the domain. Yet this relic of a forgot age refuses to abandon its territory. Deep beneath the acacia roots, in scorching heat, it coils, poised for a fight to the death. A curious lion cub steps too close. Strike. Toxic venom floods the veins. The protective lioness thrushes frantically in the mud, caught at the tipping point between survival and death. Far from the turmoil, a silent phantom stalks the dry grass. The hyper-efficient serval cat. Possessing unmatched agility, this elite predator boasts a kill rate far exceeding the lion. Radar ears lock onto hidden motion, until it confronts a venomous viper coiled in ambush. A dance of death begins. The serpent lunges. The serval leaps with lethal precision. Relentless paw strikes batter the reptile, draining every drop of its remaining stamina. A crushing crunch to the spine. The law of elimination claims yet another victim in the wild. If terrestrial predators rule the sun-drenched wasteland, a supreme ruler of the sky now emerges. Silently watching from above, the brown snake eagle prepares to unleash an ancient, merciless wrath. It is the ancient nemesis of all crawling reptiles in the food chain. Wielding razor-sharp talons that deliver a suffocating grip, it locks onto its ultimate target, the legendary forest cobra. From the heavens, the winged biological machine plunges downward, a dive of relentless fury, ripping through the sky like a spear of judgment. Thick armored scales render the serpent's lethal strike utterly useless, a biological shield crafted by evolution, making this apex creature an undefeated killer. Yet, for an even more violent spectacle, behold the secretary bird. Standing over 1 meter tall, it possesses the lethal legs of an unmatched striker. Detecting its ancient nemesis hiding within the dense brush, it closes in swiftly. In a mere 15 milliseconds, a devastating stomp strikes down. Before the venomous reptile can strike, its skull is instantly shattered. Utter domination in a fight to the death. The battle ends, but the law of elimination never sleeps. Can the supreme lion maintain domination against a giant rock python?